At least two more women in high-profile stories have lost their life due to the abortion bans in this country that have come about in the wake of the death of Roe v. Wade. Two of them in Texas specifically here, sort of ground zero for the crusade against women being able to control what happens to them or even whether they live or die. The first is a 28-year-old, Josseli Barnica, died in the hospital from an infection due to a miscarriage. You can see a photo of her right there. Yet another young mother needlessly taken before her time thanks to decisions that Republicans made that they were told would have these results, and they are having these results. So anyway, back on September 3rd, 2021, Barnica was in the hospital suffering from a miscarriage. The fetus was on the verge of coming out, its head pressed against her dilated cervix. She was 17 weeks pregnant and a miscarriage was in progress, doctors noted in hospital records. At that point, they should have offered to speed up the delivery or empty her uterus to stave off a deadly infection. But when Barnica's husband rushed to her side from his job on a construction site, she relayed what she said to the medical team had told her they had to wait until there was no heartbeat. It would be a crime to give her an abortion. So for 40 hours, she prayed for doctors to help her get home to her daughter. All the while, her uterus remained exposed to bacteria. 3 days after she delivered, she died of an infection. So she died because, what it seems is the doctors were terrified that they would be thrown in jail if they did what is demanded of them as doctors. And instead, they played it safe. They avoided being locked up, and another person lost to their life. And I just want to add on one more because we're still in Texas here. A pregnant teenager died after trying to get care in 3 visits to Texas emergency rooms. Nevia Crane, crying in pain, too weak to walk, blood staining her thighs, feverish and vomiting the day of her baby shower. She'd gone to 2 different emergency rooms within 12 hours, returning home each time worse than before. First hospital diagnosed her with strep throat without investigating her sharp abdominal cramps. At the second, she screened positive for sepsis, an obviously incredibly serious and life-threatening reaction to an infection. But doctors said her 6-month fetus had a heartbeat and that Crane was fine to leave. She eventually went to a 3rd hospital. She received 2 ultrasounds to confirm fetal demise before moving her to intensive care. By then, more than 2 hours after arrival, her blood pressure had plummeted, and a nurse had noted that her lips were blue and dusky. Her organs began failing. Hours later, she was dead. Because again, the doctors were terrified of being thrown in jail, so they allowed her to die rather than giving her the care that she needed. And in this case, by the way, I'm not an expert, I could be wrong, but appears that this is exactly the exact thing the Joe Biden executive order targeting emergency rooms in Texas were trying to avoid happening, saying you cannot turn someone away. You have to give them care. And you know what the Supreme Court did? They killed it. They killed it, and a case can be made. They killed Nevia Crane because they support these reprehensible Gileadian laws like in Texas. And so just add to the ongoing list of women who needlessly lost their lives because of the decisions of Republican men. What do you think, Sharon?
Right on. There's a cause and effect. It's that simple. The woman would be alive today. 2 more in Georgia, many more in Georgia would be alive today had these men stopped this. Okay, I believe, and I recently had another argument with my one, maybe I will keep him in my life because it gives me the ability to just go off. My one Republican friend, I said, there should be an absolute right, autonomy over our own bodies. And in doing that, I believe there'd be less abortion. I actually believe there would be less abortion. You're absolving men of their responsibility right now. You're treating women with inequality to the nth degree. And if you would just, in this society, not shift all the burden to the woman, treat her with respect, dignity, something genuine, you might be able to achieve what you may believe religiously is the right thing to do. Nobody wants to have an abortion. This is medically necessary. And this is crap that all these crotchety men are penning these rules. What if we made rules and laws about your reproductive rights? That would be something, wouldn't it be? That might put an end to this.
I mean, women vote at higher rates than men. Men seem to be setting up that situation for themselves at some point in the future. Yeah, this is obviously this is grotesque. They need to lose on Tuesday. It can't bring back any of these women. It can't save the lives of others who will die before the laws can finally be changed or the Supreme Court can be reconstituted. More people will die. We don't know who they are. We don't know what states they're in. We don't know if they're Republicans or Democrats, but that's locked in. But we can try to make those numbers as low as possible. That is what we can do.
Can I say one other thing, John?
Of course.
It just haunts me. She was begging to get back home. Please make sure I can get back home to my other child.
Yeah.
And it's just, how many of these horror stories? I didn't know her, you didn't know her, but I feel this. How many horror stories do we have to hear for you to just, you really don't give a damn? They collectively really don't give a damn.
Her and her family waiting 40 hours, day after day, just, will someone please help her? No. Because that's not what Texas wants. They care. Ted Cruz is running ads in Texas right now about how there are trans wrestlers, and that's what you should vote based on. Women are being killed by the state in Texas, and Ted Cruz is telling you that trans people wrestling is the greatest injustice that could ever happen in our nation. I know that he's going to win. I know that Texas is so messed up and it's so suppressed and everything. But like, if there was any justice in the universe, first of all, both of these women and more would be alive. But Ted Cruz would be yeeted out of office so hard he'd landed freaking Montana. Anyway, we will see. We'll be watching on Tuesday. That is all the time we have, I think. We're going to briefly mention that a fire department did a Halloween parade, and someone had a motorized cart with a fake Trump and a sniper, and they had Harris chained, being dragged behind it. That's a thing that happened, which is great. Thank you for taking Halloween and making it such a great holiday. Also, people like Megyn Kelly's costume, or they're dressing up with a garbage bag around them, because there's literally nothing they like more in existence than feeling like a victim and being able to present themselves as it. By the way, they would imply that when Joe Biden accidentally made it seem as if he thought every one of them was garbage, that was a bad thing. No, they loved it. They could not get enough of it, and they want more of it. That is who they are. Thanks for watching our video. Did you know that you can support our show by becoming a subscriber? Just click the subscribe button and also ring the bell so that you get notifications when we're live or when we post new content.